Committee meeting, next meeting.
That's next month. We will begin public participation portion of the meeting. Time is now 7 o'clock. Please remember to state your name and address clearly for the record and limit your speaking time to 3 minutes. I have a list here, and I'll call from that list, and after that, open it up to anyone that has not signed up to be given an opportunity to speak, and we'll check on any remote callers. I have 2 names signed up, and the first name is Frank Chase.
Frank Chase, 24 Roxbury Road. All of you have email versions of what I'm going to talk about tonight, and you received hard copies from each a few moments ago. For the benefit of all, let's review the Allen Street problem again with our updated top 10 listing. As the present mayor recently noted, the Allen Street problem is a debacle. Items 1 through 8, I hope that you'll read those and digest those. I'm moving to item number 9. The final Cardinal engineering plan will be completed soon. Funding ingenuity is required to finance the Allen Street project number 2, Oak Street to Beacon Street. State emergency bonding and other funding instruments will be required to complete this approximate $14 million project. We may need as much as $4 million to fulfill the city's obligations for any possible bonding options. Over the years, millions of dollars have flowed into New Britain, allocated for other higher profile projects, not $1 for the Allen Street project. Our suggestion for the mayor is a simple one: step up and fund the Allen Street project. Where is the money? All of this brings us to the infamous $4 million transfer that was promised to us by the present mayor for the Allen Street project, which was approved and confirmed by her just weeks before the election in 2023. Now it appears Resolution 36236 was never submitted to Finance Director Perugini for his review and follow-up. This looks like political theater and/or unethical behavior just weeks before an election. 7 months later, Perugini has clearly questioned the validity of the mayor's actions. We are waiting for the mayor's good faith explanations. Please see the attached supporting documentation. For the past 30 years, city officials have underestimated and misjudged the hazardous conditions created by climate change and the resulting severe weather, while neglecting and mismanaging the required storm sewer upgrades on Allen Street. Taxpayers vote for and ask our city officials to keep us safe and to ensure our quality of life. As we have detailed for you over the past 8 months, the evidence and the facts are revealing. The funding continues to be the obstacle in our path. The reality is simple. The city has the funding sources to complete the Allen Street project. Thus far, city officials have failed to obtain new funding and have prioritized available funds for other higher profile projects. After 30-plus years, the funding shell game continues while our quality of life suffers and our properties are at risk. Our neighborhood and block, over 35 properties, resembles a third world country during these flooding events because of an outdated, undersized, compromised storm sewer system. All of our city officials, past and present, are responsible for this ongoing infrastructure fiasco. Please step up and do the right thing. See the attached design schedule for the Allen Street project from New Britain Public Works. The clock is ticking. We need the funding as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chase.
Have a good night.
Our next speaker is Don Naples.
Evening. You should all have a copy of a letter that the General Manager of Trinity on Main sent to members of the Common Council, so I won't read that. I will say we were disappointed to see that of the 2 Trinity on Main projects requested for CDBG, the most important one, the roof project, was dropped off the list. And I understand the council has the power to put it back in. That's what we're requesting, and that involves survival of the building. The boiler is a no-brainer that we really need it, and fortunately the weather's getting warmer. We can put that off for a couple of months if we have to. So That's the only point I want to make. If it's a choice that we have to make, we would definitely take the annex roof. It's a liability as well as a survival issue. Slate's falling off. That's all. This is beggar's night. Here I am. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Naples, and thanks for your work as treasurer of Trinity on Main. I have no other names on the list, and I'll make a call for any other person who wants to speak to the council. Once? Twice? Anybody online? Nobody online? 3 times. Hearing none, the public participation portion of the Common Council meeting is closed. I'll just ask now if there are any other Common Council members that would like to comment on what they've heard tonight. Alderwoman Belain Saavedra.
Okay, first, Mr. Naples, I think the night of the CDBG, though, when it was asked about the projects, it was told to us that the boiler was the most important thing. So I think that the council has a little confusion. You were only going to get one of the 2 projects, and the boiler's the project that was recommended. And the night of the hearing, everybody was under the assumption that the boiler was the most important thing, which remains in CDBG, but not the roof. So I think, and I know you talked to some of us afterwards, but you weren't going to get both projects, so it was an either or, and maybe we'll have to talk about that before we vote on it tonight, but that was my understanding. I do want to say Mr. Chase left, and usually he stays around to hear what we have to say after he says a few words. It's getting repetitive. I give him credit for coming out, but I think that him getting up here and constantly criticizing the mayor just muddies the waters when it comes to the project. It's on everybody's mind. It's slated. We did a walkthrough, which he knows. I told him we did a walk of Allen Street with our state delegation and with the 2 legislative chairs of the bonding committee at the Capitol. They're working with the mayor's office and with the Common Council to try and get things moving forward on Allen Street. Mr. Moriarty has an engineer that's currently doing stuff on Allen Street for us so that we could see the cost of the total project. So things are moving, and I just don't think that Mr. Chase gives us credit for the things that are happening. He's living in the past on all the grudges and things that haven't happened. I'm not saying that he doesn't have a right to be frustrated, but I think we need to live in the here and now, and the project is moving forward to the best of our ability with all the players talking to each other and coming together. So I'd like to encourage Frank that when he comes to show a little bit of an attitude of gratitude in terms of people putting their pedal to the metal, so to speak, in moving this project forward. And the only other thing I want to say is Happy Mother's Day. It's not on our agenda tonight, so for all the moms that are out there that may be listening, from the City Council, I just want to wish everybody a happy Mother's Day weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderwoman Belain Saavedra, and happy Mother's Day to you. Any other members? Alderwoman Scott.
Yeah, to Mr. Maples first, thank you for coming. I think that we were all under the impression that you needed the boiler, so maybe we can talk about that, because I think that's what, but I do agree with you about the roof falling on people. I was a little nervous about that when I heard you saying that, so. And I want to thank Frank for coming out, even though he's not here. I'm sure maybe he's watching, or he'll watch it later. Thank you so much, Frank, for coming, like I say, every single week that you come. And I understand that for people whose houses might not be being flooded, might not really understand the urgency when you're living in the area where it is being flooded, such as myself. Like this morning, I heard the rain. I think it rained, right? Or I was having a nightmare and heard rain, because when I hear rain at night, it scares me because I don't know what I'm waking up to in my basement. So I do see the urgency, and I thank Frank so much for coming. I think that he should get a special award for showing up so much for public participation. You don't usually have that many people here, so it's really nice to see that he's standing his ground until this actually gets done, because it's not done. Our houses are still at risk, and so when it's done, but it's not, and it's been going on for far too long in this city. So, thank you so much. Oh, and happy Mother's Day, too.
Any other member want to wish their mama happy Mother's Day? Any others? Hearing none? I said that. All right, I just want to reiterate Alderwoman Beloin Saavedra's thanks to the legislative delegation for bringing the co-chair of the bonding committee legislature and the ranking member, Representative Piscopo, out to walk down Allen Street to start a process that may lead to state bonding as well as a city share to get this 33-year-old problem addressed. So I think that's progress. Hearing no other members who wish to speak, you turn your mic on. Thank you. Thank you, Alderman Russell. Hearing no other members, public participation is now closed, and the regular meeting will begin shortly. It's now 7:11.
I believe we're all set. Right? All right. I would like to call to order this regular meeting of the New Britain Common Council. The date's May 8th, 2024. The time is 7:31 PM. Mr. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Thank you, Your Honor. Other persons, McNamara,
Here?
Smedley. Present. Sanchez. Here. Beloin Saavedra. Here. Simpson.
Present.
Russell. Here. Barbosa. Hargraves. Here. McAdam. Here. Gibson. Here. Scott.
Here.
Connors. Here. Malinowski. Here. Pabon. Here. Santiago. 14 members present, Your Honor.
Thank you. Can we all please rise for the invocation? Will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. O God, our Heavenly Father, we thank you for the love of our mother. Her love is so precious that it can never be measured. Her patience seems to have no end. We pray for those mothers who fear they will run out of love, time, or memories, or mothers who have been taken from us. We ask this in thy name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have quite a few presentations this evening, but before we do that, I just want to give a shout out to Chief Ortiz, who's here tonight and still awake somehow. Thank you and your staff. I don't know why he's here. I told him to go home. But I just want to thank our members of the New Britain Fire Department who fought courageously all night to put out the fire at 59 High Street. Chief, thanks for leading a great group of guys and for all the work that you've done. To be continued on that. But thank you. At this point in time, we have our first presentation of the evening, and I would like to call up Maggie Heath Ringrose and Dennis Morell, who are the co-chairs of the City of New Britain's Greater Hartford St. Patrick's Day Parade Committee contingent. Right, the two of you, come on up to the podium here. And they have some very exciting presentations to make to us this evening. So I would like to give them the floor for a few minutes. No pressure.
Good evening, Mayor Stewart and members of the Common Council. Thank you for allowing us to speak to you tonight. As the mayor said, we are co-chairs of the New Britain contingent in the Greater Hartford St. Patrick's Day Parade. Just to differentiate, I'm Dennis Morell, and this is Margaret Heath Ringrose. And Margaret has a few words to share with the Common Council this evening.
The Greater Hartford St. Patrick's Day Parade has been one of the largest area cultural events for many, many years. Several towns and organizations participate each year, and New Britain has had the largest contingent in the parade for many years now. Very proud of that. The New Britain Contingent Parade Committee owes special thanks to Mayor Aaron Stewart for your support throughout the years for the parade and also for bringing awareness of Irish culture to our community. This year, Deborah Scarlett and Kathy Nihancini led the contingent as the 2024 New Britain Town Marshal and Town Honoree. And additionally, Mayor Stewart was selected as 2024 Person of the Year by the Central Connecticut Celtic Cultural Committee and proudly led the entire parade. Kudos to the New Britain Police Department, Fire Department, EMS, the New Britain High School Golden Hurricanes Marching Band and the Canettes, our elected officials, the Polish Business Association, New Britain Elks Lodge 957, the New Britain Bees, 5 churches, and Martin Rosels, who all represented New Britain with spirit and class. In fact, New Britain once again was selected with a perfect score as Best Town Contingent in the 2024 Greater Hartford St. Patrick's Day Parade. We're proud to present the plaque to Mayor Stewart.
Oh, I'll come down if you want to stand here. I'll come. Just can't be.
52nd Greater Hartford St. Patrick's Day Parade 2024 Best Town Contingent, New Britain.
The New Britain High School Golden Hurricanes Marching Band has long been a source of pride in our city. For as many years as I've been here, that's really been the pride of New Britain High School in our town. During Channel 61's televised parade event, the announcers actually reported that the band is always a crowd favorite in the parade. So it's no surprise that the New Britain High School Golden Hurricanes Marching Band has once again been selected with a perfect score as Best High School Band in the 2024 Greater Hartford St. Patrick's Day Parade. We're happy to present this year's plaque to students Jaden Benitez and Augustina Bunyarath. and the director, Justin Carlin. Congratulations.
Mayor?
Nice job.
No, you guys take it. I got
Yeah?
it.
Okay.
Go ahead, go ahead. I'm fine.
And the plaque reads the 52nd Greater
I know.
Hartford St. Patrick's Day Parade 2024 Best High School Band, New Britain Golden Hurricanes.
Get close.
Thank you, Mayor.
You guys want to add anything about upcoming fundraisers or the parade date for next year? No, not yet.
Halfway to St. Patrick's Day.
Can I just say the committee meets tomorrow night to start planning our three-peat for the 2025.
Thank you all. Thanks very much. All right, presentation number 1, check. Presentation number 2 tonight is our friends from Mattabassett. Art and Company here to give our annual presentation about Mattabassett's budget. So please, good to see you.
Arthur Simonian from the Mattabassett District. John Dunham, our board chairman, is here. Don Naples, who's from the city of New Britain, is also on our board of directors. And Daniel Salerno, behind the column from where I was sitting, is also here present. So, been up here quite a few times now, so we've been doing this for, I think, at least 6 or 7 years, but it's really done as a courtesy to the city of New Britain, so we thank you for letting us do this. Try to give you kind of a high-level overview of what we're doing at Mattabassett and kind of what goes into our budget. Try to time it pretty well with your New Britain budget as well. So we did share with you what we call our budget notes, which are kind of some of the highlights, and I'll go over a few of those for you, and then if you have any questions for myself or John afterwards, we'll be happy to answer any. So this year, we're happy to report that the fiscal year budget for Mattabassett increased 1.1%. Pretty relatively low figure for this year, and even though we had higher pension costs and some labor costs, we did offset that with some reductions in our maintenance department and also lower debt services. We were able to refinance our $80 million clean water loan a few years ago with some of the lower interest rates that were out there during the COVID time. We had a 2% clean water fund loan from the state, and we refinanced part of that at a rate of about 1.3%. So that obviously helps our debt services, and we did try to trim down wherever else we could as well. 5-year average flows is how we assess about 50% of our budget, our operating and maintenance. And New Britain, although they're the largest community and has the largest flows, that does impact the assessments probably the most significantly. The operating debt budget only went up about 1.3%, and capital went up about 1.1%. On the good news side, Middletown, who joined the district in 2015 fully, they actually shut their wastewater facility. When we call it clean water is the new terminology that everyone's using. So drinking water, clean water, and storm water. So their facility, their clean water facility, shut down in 2019, and they joined the district fully in 2015, but connected to us in 2019. And since joining the district, they've contributed about $7.3 million towards New Britain's assessment, and there's more money coming too as well. We still have some reserve funds from that buy-in, that $13 million that they paid to join the district. So that's helped New Britain's assessment quite a bit over the last 10 years or so. I mentioned about the debt services and the 2% interest rate. And this year, we used about $250,000 of our operating expenses that were lower this year, and $300,000 from our reserve account to help offset our assessments for fiscal year '25. So we do that sometimes to help lower the assessments to our communities that we serve. So that's kind of some of the highlights on how we got to our budget. We do have, on the next page, and I won't go into details on this, but on the good news side is that New Britain's flows actually, their 5-year flows went down this year over a 5-year period. That's kind of unheard of in the kind of weather events we've had. We've had 82 inches of rain in 2023, and I think 50-something inches in 2022. So very significant. We've had 7 wet weather events that exceeded the plant capacity since September of last year. So a very wet weather event, very wet weather season, as I think everyone knows. I know there's a lot of talk about storm and sewers, but for New Britain to lower the numbers down in that 5-year average period is really remarkable. I'm actually proud of what New Britain's done so far.
Can we
So-
just get you to say NB Flush and say it loud and say
New
it
Britain
proud?
flush, yeah, no, Ray's out here, but Mark is back
Okay,
there.
thank you.
So,
All right, feels good, thanks.
certainly, I'm sure there's talk about, the investment that goes into that program, and I'm happy to report that New Britain's assessment went up 0.3%, pretty low number considering our budget went up 1.1. Some of your surrounding communities in this area that we also serve went up 12.6%. So obviously, having an impact on your budget is very important, and I think you could see that in your numbers. And I know you're not done with your program, but I commend you on what you've done so far. New Britain is also benefiting from another about $560,000 from the Middletown buy-in, which you'll see on the first page. And some of the budget highlights, I'll just talk about some of the things that we had to kind of absorb this year. Salaries, which are driven by contracts, and we are going to contract negotiations. Our electricity budget only went up 0.3%. I know that sounds really low, which it probably is, even though our distribution costs went up almost 47% in July of last year. We do have a fixed contract for generation. But we actually paid off our energy project this year, and we were paying it out of the electricity budget, so we were able to lower that number down by about $300,000. So it is lower this year due to the fact that that $300,000 payment no longer is needed to repay ourselves on a energy project. Fuel and natural gas, obviously we're uncertain in terms of what the rates are going to be, but we went up about 10% on that. And, debt service, I mentioned, stayed the same. So our budget without capital electricity is about a 1.4% increase, and overall, $19.9 million budget at about 1.1%. So we are still working on a lot of programs. We're still doing some energy-saving projects. We're actually going after a lot of money from Eversource in terms of rebates. We're looking to upgrade our blowers, which may result in another $190,000 in rebates. So there are some pretty good incentives still out there. And we have a pretty aggressive capital project, capital investment plan over the next 10 years. We brought on a couple consultants that are helping us with that as well. So we think that's going to help the longevity of the plant. One of the things that's unique about Mattabesset is we have an incinerator that burns the sludge. So people may say, why are we burning sludge? Why don't we, either sell it or use the energy from it? But right now, there's a lot of concerns about disposal of biosolids, sludges from other states, and they're actually shipping it to Canada, they're shipping it to the Midwest, paying a lot of money for disposal because there's concerns about PFAS in solids. So one advantage that Mattabesset has is we could actually burn solids, and we take in merchants from other communities that bring sludges to us, and that generates about $1.2 million in revenue for us. So all to help offset assessments. So the incinerator is very important for keeping our expenses in check, and also being environmentally friendly too as well, by not polluting the roads with more emissions or landfills. So that's really it for the kind of high level. There are a couple pages in the back that I do like to show you that are kind of a comparison of year to year. If you look at the last page in your report, it says budget comparison, and we do a look back from 2014 to 25. You see the budgets, and we did an average increase from 2018 to 25 for New Britain was 3.3%. So even though you may see, some years we have higher increases, we try to keep the overall average at a realistic number. So New Britain's 3.3 is probably one of the lowest next to MDC, and our total budget had an average increase of about 4.1. So you're actually running below our average budget increase, which is good. And some of that's offset by the buy-in from Middletown and when we use some of our reserve balances. So that's kind of the high-level overview. John, I don't know if you want to speak about anything else that we're working on, or talk about some of the...
Yeah, John Dunham from Berlin. I just wanted to stress to you folks here, and Art covered everything really that we're doing in our budget, but we as a board certainly strive to have the best plant. You can see we've got of the almost $20 million that we have, close to about $8 million is on capital improvements. It's a sophisticated plant. We're highly regulated, obviously, and we really do our best to keep it in excellent shape. And so, we have to be good neighbors for Cromwell as well, and try and control odors, and we spend a lot on that as well. So, and as Art mentioned, we're going into union negotiations. We did a 4-year agreement last time. Hopefully, we can come to some type of decent agreement again going forward, because that helped, I think, control our salaries, especially during COVID, when times were fluctuating, I think we all know, pretty dramatically. So we'll see how we do. But just wanted to let you know the board works very hard on that. Finance committee really works to keep the costs down. Thank you.
Just mentioned about borrowing, that we try to do things from reserves.
Yeah, so I mean, as you'll see, from on the operating budget, just underneath that, there's a $3.6 million in the budget, and that's for capital improvements. So we pay as we go. We don't do a lot of bonding. We bonded for the $100 million plant upgrade and the new incinerator, because that was an exceptional cost. But a lot of the day-to-day expenses and the big things that we work on, we pay as we go. And so we feel, and that gives us, we have a very strong financial package that we have at the district, and I think I think that's a benefit to all. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Okay.
Anyone have any questions for Art or John? Great tour, highly recommend it.
Did you wear a mask the last time? I can't remember, but someone else went on a tour here too as well.
Throwing up the whole time.
We do do a
very
lot of tours
informative
for the communities, the schools as well, and obviously there's a lot of jobs opening up in this field too, so it's good, I think, for the community to interact with us, but welcome more tours in the future.
I think I have one question.
Someone's raising their hand.
Alderman Santiago?
Yeah, thank you, Anna. You was talking about investing for electricity. How are we with solar panels?
So we do have some solar panels at the facility already. It's a relatively small array. We did try to do some what's called a net metering, and I think some of that program went away where you could actually build a solar system off-site and then get the benefits on-site. We don't have a lot of real estate on our property because we're about a quarter of our property is covered by floodplain. But we did look into a fuel cell one time, had some contractual issues. We are pursuing a program where they could build a fuel cell off-site, and you could potentially benefit from the revenues from there. So I think that's open to municipalities. So we're kind of looking into the language of who's defined as a municipality, even though we think we are, but you know the utility company may not agree with us. So, but we do try to save money. We did an energy project that's saving us about $80,000 to $100,000 a year in electricity, just with LED lights and more efficient mechanical equipment. And again, the rebates that we go after saves us quite a bit of money on capital as well.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Art? Great. Thank you guys so much
All
for
right.
coming. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hopefully, our flows will continue to decrease next
Yes,
year as we
I hope so,
continue
too.
to complete
Look-
these projects.
Looking forward to lower numbers next year.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, and the last presentation I have this evening, I believe Alderwoman Beloin Saavedra.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm sure everybody saw in the newspaper, Mr. Moriarty received an award, and the leadership of the City Council thought that it would be nice for us to recognize Mr. Moriarty for all his good work and acknowledge. So we put a citation together, and I'd like to read it. And it is from the Common Council, and it's be it hereby known to all that New Britain Common Council extends its appreciation and very best wishes to Mark Moriarty in recognition of being named by the American Public Works Association New England Chapter Leader of the Year. Your dedication, Mark, to making a difference in New Britain has not gone unnoticed. Our membership thanks you for all your valuable time and energy making New Britain a better place. And when we think of you and how comprehensive your department is and all the things you've contributed, we think about some of the big and glamorous projects and then the not so glamorous projects that you're involved in. Overlook and McKinley and then future Allen Street are not so glamorous but very big and important. The Beehive Bridge, making New Britain a bike-friendly community. The Stanley Loop that was completed and we just celebrated. The Complete Streets project, your work on Arch Street that is ongoing, and just the daily troubleshooting and all the vastness that encompasses public works. So on behalf of the leadership and all the members of the Common Council, Mr. Moriarty, we want to congratulate you on being recognized regionally, but also here at home. Thank you, and would you come up and just get your citation, please?
Speech, you're really good at those.
He wasn't going to come to tonight's meeting, and I'm like, sorry, you have to.
Now, it was one of the few meetings I didn't have anything really on the agenda, but thank you so much. I guess the APWA honor, I was surprised by it a little. I'm not that involved with APWA. I know some of the people in there. It was the first time they did this award, so it's the first time they gave a award for recognizing a leader in Connecticut. So to get the first one, I was humbled by that. I've had a great time in my career in New Britain. I'm coming up on 19 years. Been fortunate, I think, in my timing here somewhat for a lot of things, but you know, I just been blessed. I started here 2005. Very shortly thereafter, we did some work, kind of a change of approach on what we were doing over where Celebration Foods landed, and I suggested some changes, cleaned up the property. Next thing you know, we were very fortunate to get Celebration Foods in, and it's just gone from there with one great thing after another. We took down all the property at Pinnacle Heights, turned that around. It's just gone on and on. There's so many great projects I've been fortunate to get involved with. This Friday, we have the Public Works Operations Center that that I got to be involved with something like that, to see that kind of facility get replaced, and it's such an honor to Public Works and all the people in Public Works. So, yeah, it's been a tremendous joy and honor to work here. I've got to work with so many good people, and thank you all for the recognition. It's not something I really seek. I'm really typically just, as soon as we accomplish anything, I'm on to the next thing. It's in my rearview mirror. But it's nice that some people do at least are recognizing these things are happening, and I really appreciate it.
Okay. Now on to the agenda. So we have 2 vetoed resolutions that need to be taken up first. Alderman Santiago.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt mayor's veto notwithstanding item number 36405-2.
I have a second from Alderwoman Sanchez.
I know everybody will expect something from me from these replies, but I'm not going to. I'm going to just let it ride. I mean, I made a point of what I did it for in the beginning, and that's where I'm going to stand with. So,
Okay.
appreciate the urge adoption.
Any questions or comments on this?
Roll call vote, Your Honor.
Roll call.
Sure, we'll do a roll call. Just to verify, a yes vote is to override the veto, a no vote is to sustain the veto. And I will call on we have a new face here. Hold on. This is our Assistant Town Clerk, Josh Bruckstra, who is new. Josh, hi. Doesn't look like Mark Bernacki, so I just wanted to make sure everybody knows that he's supposed to be there. Mr. Clerk.
Alderpersons McNamara,
Yes.
Smedley. No. Sanchez,
Yes, Sanchez.
Yes.
Loin Saavedra,
No.
Simpson. Yes. Russell.
No.
Hargraves.
No.
McAdam. Gibson.
No.
Scott.
Yes.
Connors.
Yes.
Malinowski.
No.
Capone. No. Santiago.
No, because, so while technically a tie vote right now, because you need 10 votes to override a veto, the motion, so the veto is sustained. And so the next item, Alderman Santiago.
Thank you, Your Honor. Make a motion to accept and adopt mayor's veto notwithstanding item number 36407-2
I have a second from Alderwoman Sanchez.
and urge adoption.
Okay, thank you very much. Roll call. Okay, Mr. Clerk, same thing, yes is to override, no is to sustain.
Alderpersons McNamara,
Yes.
Smedley. No. Sanchez.
Yes.
Loin Saavedra,
No.
Simpson. Yes. Russell.
No.
Barbosa. Oh, not here. Hargraves.
No.
McAdam.
Yes.
Gibson.
No.
Scott.
Yes.
Connors.
Yes.
Malinowski.
No.
Pabon. Santiago.
Yes.
All right, so that's 7-7 again. Again, 10 votes needed, so the veto is sustained. Thank you. We'll move along into item number 4, approval of the minutes. Alderman Santiago.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept the minutes of regular meeting of April 10th, 2024.
I have a second from Alderwoman Beloin Saavedra. Are there any questions, comments, notes? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And I don't see any amendments. You got it. Thank you, Alderman Santiago. We will go on to petitions. Mr. Clerk.
5 petitions, Your Honor.
Thank you. 5.
Alderwoman Barbosa for the appropriate departments to give detailed update as to when Ward 2 streets were paved.
I will send that to Public Works Department, please. Actually, everything's Public Works tonight, so Mark, listen closely.
Alderman Simpson for the appropriate departments to install a sidewalk spanning from the intersection of Kensington Avenue and Wall Street to the next sidewalk connection at 48 Wall Street.
Public Works.
Alderman Simpson for the appropriate departments to install a sidewalk spanning from the intersection of Kensington Avenue and Clinic Drive to the intersection of Kensington Avenue and Wall Street, preferably on the even side of the street.
Public Works.
Alderman McNamara for the appropriate departments to address access and visibility to a fire hydrant at the end of Birdseye Street, a dead-end street, including consideration of a no parking sign or painted lines in the vicinity of the hydrant.
I would send that to Public Works too. I'm presuming that brush needs to be cut back.
Yes, I believe so, and also parked cars blocking the views. And the snowplow takes the snow into her yard.
We'll send that to Public Works then. That's the appropriate spot.
And Alderman Smedley for the appropriate departments to consider the installation of a metal guardrail system on the curb line at the intersection of Blake Road and Stanley Streets, and specifically on the corner of the property at 1886 Stanley Street.
We're gonna send that to the Public Works Department too. Yep. Chief would really appreciate cars that stop coming in his front yard. We got you. Okay. Got it. All good? Great. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. I will move on to the consent agenda. I know I recognize that. The consent agenda, Alderman Santiago.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept a consent agenda of item A, C, D, E, G, and H.
Seconded by Alderwoman Sanchez. A, C, D, E, G, and H. Seconded by Alderwoman Sanchez. Are there any questions or comments on the consent agenda? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderpersons McNamara,
Aye.
Smedley. Sanchez. Beloin Saavedra.
Yes.
Simpson. Russell. Hargraves. McAdam. Gibson. Scott.
Yes.
Connors.
Yes.
Malinowski. Papone. Santiago.
Yes.
14.
Motion carries. Item B, Alderwoman Scott, I believe.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to refer item B to Administration, Finance and Law.
Second.
I have a second from Alderman Santiago. Alderwoman.
Okay, this is because in December, the city signed a contract with Gosco to give special tax abatement to the Main and Chestnut building. This will include 80 apartments, none of which are affordable units, and commercial retail space. This is a very generous tax relief. $550 tax limit per unit, 1% increased limit annually a year over 26 years. And it's time for us to take a second look at this at the AFL committee. After our real estate assessment went up last year as well, this has impacted homeowners significantly. We have a severe housing shortage, and we have a lack of affordable housing. So I urge for adoption for this referral to
Okay.
AFL.
Is there any questions or comments on the referral? Alderwoman Beloit Saavedra.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm not sure who maybe Corporation Counsel for this question. These are already signed contracts with legal obligations between the city and JASCO, correct?
Yes.
These are not pending contracts. These are contracts that the council, previous councils have already voted on, and that the mayor has already signed.
I think someone, okay, I got it. Good evening, everybody. Yes, that's my understanding, Alderwoman. And then just for the record, these are reports coming back to the council. They're not resolutions for the council to act upon.
But Your Honor, through you, if I may, for clarification still to you, Attorney Gennaro, that there is no authority the council has to alter these contracts.
That is correct.
So the referral to the committee can be for people who are unhappy with the past to talk about it, but there is no legal rights that this council has to change anything that are in these contracts, correct?
Right, not without legal repercussions, Alderwoman.
Okay, so first of all, we have absolutely no jurisdiction over contracts that have already been signed and are in the works. So we could get up and we could talk about the aspects that we don't like, but there is no legal authority. I am going to oppose the referral to the committee. I think we could talk about housing. I do get very frustrated when people stand up and make sweeping statements without facts behind them. Everybody is struggling with affordable housing. It is not just the city of New Britain. And the mayor has done, and so has planning and development, in cooperation with one another, brought different affordable housing to the city of New Britain. The Berkowitz building, the Berkowitz 2 that just broke ground a couple of weeks ago, Columbus Commons, Cortland Arms, Mount Pleasant is getting redone, although that's not a city, that's the housing authority, but with great support of the city and getting land. So I don't like it when alder people stand up and make sweeping comments because they may not like the Brit or the high railer, for instance, or they don't like that somebody who has a lot of money may get a tax break. I also don't like the narrative and the falsehood that because someone gets a tax break, I, as a middle-class person, am paying for their tax break. No, I'm not, because what they're paying in taxes is still more money to our coffers than if that building sat vacant and nobody invested in it to begin with. And if I was going to invest 10, 20, $30 million in a business here in New Britain, I'd expect a tax break too. So what we are generating in income as revenue from the taxes, albeit not 100% value of our mill rate, is still more than if we didn't have this project to begin with. So on the basis of everything that I said, I'm voting against this referral.
Alderman Smedley.
Thank you, Your Honor. Through you, I will also be voting against this referral. One, it would just be a simple waste of this council body's time to sit and talk about something that was previously voted on by a former council. And number two, there is 20% affordable housing in this development. To echo what Alderwoman Belanger said, the money that we're collecting in taxes, which was also included in an additional report, if not this one that I read earlier, about how much money is being collected more so than if we just left it as a vacant, abandoned property. So I too struggle with the fact that these blanket statements are made about these developments in the city. The days of an $800 two-bedroom apartment no longer exist. Deal with it.
Your Honor?
Alderman Santiago.
Again, it's a referral to committee for discussions. Sometimes we have to, I was a member of that council that voted actually for the 25-year tax break. So, but the point of it is learning from your mistakes, right? You learn from what you have thought might be right or could be good for the city or whatever it is, and then you want to take a look at it and make some adjustments for the next time it comes. I don't have a problem having discussions. This is the reason why we're here, right? We're here to have discussions, have some kind of, agreements if we could. If not, then we just, we agree to disagree. But at the point of time, talking about, I'm getting tired of this, to be honest. Every time is when a council member brings something from the other side, it seems like it's always be that we're going against you guys. We're not going against you guys. We're here to represent the council, the community as a whole. And if our side has a different view than yours, that's the reason why we're here, to have the discussions. That's why we have committees for, to have the discussions, as our Alderman prior, Mr. Smedley said before, with process. We have the committees for process, and that's why we're here. Again, we're sending that report to the committee to have some discussions. There's nothing about putting jabs or what was wrong, what was right. It's just to learn from our mistakes, if there were some, or make some other corrections. Thank you.
Alderman Malinowski.
Thank you, Your Honor. In my opinion, this is a report, right? If we're going to have the discussion, let's take it off consent. Let's have the discussion right here now. More people are watching right now than are watching any of our committee meetings. I think the referral is a little bit of an extra step that we don't have to take. If we're going to have the discussion, let's do it. Thank you.
The other, Alderman McNamara.
Thank you, Mayor. I think the intent of the referral. Oh, I'm sorry, breaking the rules. Huh? Thank you. I think the intent of the referral is to obtain more information on the ascending taxes being paid on these developments. And I believe a city like New Britain has to use tax breaks for development, and it will guide this council on considering other tax breaks and developments to know the 26-year breakout of how the developer is paying more taxes year after year, I think, escalating scale, and also to determine a middle ground, and also to identify in making future tax abatements the benefits to the community. So I think it's always good to have a discussion based on what we've done to formulate decisions moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Smedley?
Thank you, Your Honor. I don't, through you respectfully, I don't think that it's us separating or making an argument with the other side or disagreeing with the other side or making it our side, your side. I think it's that we want you to understand that if you're going to refer something to committee, it has to be an actionable item because that's what the purpose of the committee is. And that you have to have tangible and articulated information that can be acted upon. You can't just bring something to the table to a committee to discuss it because you don't like it. That it's pointless, it's a waste of everyone's time. There's nothing we could possibly do on it. Could you learn from the past? Yes, review the videos online, review the minutes from the meetings, and make those choices and those decisions in your caucus and then vote on them on the floor. That's the basics of how a common council operates. Not to refer stuff back to committee to waste people's time, because it continues to be veiled statements like it was during your speech last time where you said that emails went unanswered. We yet still to this day to see any of those emails that went unanswered. I've asked publicly, there have been emails from the mayor to you directly asking, and there has been no response. So this is just a frustration from my point of view because it's becoming a serious waste of time when items like this get reviewed to council or submissions of petitions get submitted and we have to look at 80 pages of documentation for no reason.
Any other alderperson?
Roll call vote. Oh,
I have three, and Alderwoman Scott.
So I think, yeah, this is just so that we can learn for the next time, and also so that we can have discussions about it. I read all of that because there are more people watching this than that will be watching the committee, and I am here for the people, and a lot of people don't know what's going on, and I want them to be aware of what is going on. And so I shared that information today for that purpose and reason. Is not a waste of the people's time to know what's going on, and I'm sorry that you feel that way. So that's why that was read, and that's why it's being referred, so that we can discuss it more, because that's what we're here for, to discuss things and to look at and examine things for the people.
Any other alderperson wish to make a comment? I had three folks asking for a roll call on this, so Mr. Clerk.
Thank you, Your Honor. Alderpersons McNamara,
Aye.
Smedley,
no.
Sanchez, Beloin Saavedra, Simpson,
Frustratingly, yes.
Russell, Hargraves, McAdam, Gibson, Scott,
Yes.
Connors,
Yes.
Malinowski, Pabon, Santiago.
Yes.
The vote is 7-7, Your Honor.
No. Motion fails. Item F, Alderwoman Santiago. Sanchez, sorry. I'm looking at her and thinking about you.
I made a motion to refer item F to the Committee of Planning, Zoning, and Housing.
Seconded by Alderman Santiago.
And the only reason why I'm referring this to Planning, Zoning, and Housing is because I got some questions from some of the residents of the school apartments, because the problem's still happening, and they very worried about themselves, like, every day.
Okay.
I urge referral.
Any questions or comments on the referral to Planning, Zoning, and Housing? All those in favor? Oh, I'm sorry, I apologize. Alderman Smedley, followed by Alderwoman.
Respectfully, through you, Alderwoman, do you have those questions here that we can pose to the police department or Public Works who is here? So that we don't have to, again, refer this to committee. The discussion can happen here on the floor or in emails prior to these meetings.
Sure.
Yeah.
Could you please come to the microphone? huh? Oh, that one is on.
Oh, sorry.
Just a question. Because it's a referral, it's still under the referral part. I don't think you could ask a question from a referral, correct? There's a motion. Okay, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
So,
Yep, you can go ahead and ask your question.
some of the residents, they would like to know why, my petition was rejected.
Sure, so the Traffic Division went out and did a study, and it's listed in the response here that the overwhelming majority of the cars monitored during the study were traveling at 32 miles an hour, which is right there within the speed limit. At the same time, there's 2 crosswalks. I don't know the exact distance, but it's listed in here. One's 185 feet north of where they're requesting one. The other one's about 150 feet in the opposite direction, so there's 2 crosswalks in that general area. From what we had reported to us from Sergeant Kapowski, who does an amazing job with these petitions and traffic studies, is what it kind of comes down to is people not really wanting to make the walk to the crosswalks that are already out there, and they are available to them. I can't really go into any more detail than what's already listed. I know that there's been some tragic incidents in that area. You know, we understand that hurts the community, and they are sad, but it doesn't have to do necessarily with individuals that are utilizing the crosswalk properly. In the one case that we do have, it was the pedestrian that did run across the road without using one of the crosswalks.
Thank you. Last Saturday, I was at the laundromat, and I have noticed that it's not even one, like, slow down type of sign. Not even one on that side, like at least on the street. Can we at least try to put some up, like, for people to see if they can stop speeding at least?
Sure, we can definitely look into signage. I think the basis for this one was just the crosswalks, installing another one when there's already 2, but we absolutely can work with Public Works and figure out if that is possible. We'd never turn that down, especially if it's still a concern.
The thing is that people keep complaining about the speeding, and I was there Saturday, and I saw it myself. And I would like to help the people
Sure.
as much as I can. I would appreciate you. We work on something for them.
Of course.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
May I, before that, may I make a comment?
Oh, yeah, sure. Alderman Smedley.
Thank you, Your Honor. I also find it would be important to note that in this documented report, that the request for a crosswalk and the exact location it was would place it directly in front of the firehouse. While there is a traffic light there, the hashed area in the roadway signifies that it's an emergency vehicle enter and exit point, and that traffic light cannot be interconnected with a crosswalk signal. It would just be unsafe for pedestrians in that crosswalk at that point because of the emergency vehicles. It's unknown when they're going to exit or enter that facility. So that was also clearly documented in this return report.
Alderwoman Sanchez.
Thank you, Your Honor. Through you, I would like to redo my motion, and I would like to accept the report.
So, Mr. Clerk, you good with that? Seconded by Alderman Santiago? Okay, great. Any other questions or comments on this?
Just a comment.
Alderwoman Beloin Saavedra.
I want to thank Alderwoman Sanchez for being reasonable and asking the question. We disposed of the issue. Didn't even take 5 minutes, unnecessary to refer this to committee, and this is the way the council should be acting. You have a petition, it comes back, you may not like or be confused by the answer. We have the department heads here, so that worked out perfectly. Thank you, Chief, for following up with the Alderwoman's request for signage. And again, I just want to say this is the way it should work, and I think that was the point Alderman Smedley was making in his previous statements, and what also Alderman Malinowski had said. We're all here. If there are questions to be had, instead of bouncing the ball from one place to another, just ask the questions and get a resolve. So thank you, Alderwoman Sanchez, for asking your questions, and Chief, so that we could dispose of the matter expediently and without wasting time. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor of the motion to accept the report? Aye. Anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. I will move into resolutions this evening, and resolution number 1, Alderman Simpson.
Thank you, Your Honor. I rise to make a motion to accept and adopt item number 1.
I have a second from Alderman Santiago.
Thank you. This is a contract with First Student Inc. for 2024 summer bus transportation for the Recreation and Community Services Department. at a daily rate of $233.62 per bus and $68.90 per hour for any additional buses.
Thank you, Alderman. Are there any questions or comments on this? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2, Alderwoman Scott.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is for the Recreation and Community Services Department, and it is a public bid number 4163, and it was solicited and received accordingly to the purchasing ordinance of the City of New Britain for the sale of park concessions for the rights of city parks. And it was, invitations were sent out and solicited to various venues and platforms, and the money was received, the bids were received, and therefore let it be resolved that the purchasing agent is hereby authorized to grant ice cream, Queen of Ice Cream of New Britain, the concessions rights for Chesley Park, A.W. Stanley Park, Stanley Quarter Park, Osgood Park, Washington Park, Willow Street Park, and Willowbrook Park, and authorize the grant to Brothers Ice Cream, LLC, Waterbury, Connecticut, the concession rights for Walnut Hill Park in accordance with the payment terms and to the bid of 4163.
Alderwoman, can I please just have a motion and a second?
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
I make a motion.
Seconded by Alderwoman Beloin Saavedra. Any further comments on the motion to accept? Alderwoman Beloin Saavedra.
With Mr. Barbieri sitting here, I have to comment. It's food trucks or gazebo in the park. I have to say something. I'm just really happy it's a New Britain company who got the award. We had talked about this for years. The Waterbury had been dominating in this area, so I was very pleased to see that a New Britain vendor is getting it. Good job with that, Mr. Barbieri. And then a shout out for the gazebo. If you guys haven't stopped by the gazebo to get a treat, it took a couple years to get it open, but she's doing a wonderful job. Thank you.
Taste Buds on Walnut is her name. Lori's great. Any further questions or comments? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman McNamara, item number 3.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 3.
Seconded by Alderman Smedley.
On the motion, this is a list of refunds, abatements from the revenue collector. This involves about $20,000 worth of refunds for motor vehicles. I move adoption.
Thank you, sir. Any further questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Resolution number 4, Alderman Simpson.
Thank you, Your Honor. I rise to make a motion to accept and adopt item number 4.
I have a second from Alderman Smedley.
Thank you. These are a 2024 Neighborhood Assistant Act Credit Program. If you allow me 1 second to find my page. There we go. So these funds go towards neighborhood housing services, the Human Resource Agency, the Friendship Center, and the Prudence Crandall Center. It's going to aid massively in our what's it called? Our intentions of honoring our projects like Broad and West Main Street, New Britain Food Resource Center, Energy Efficiency Annual Appeals, and the New Britain Food and Resource Center. So I urge adoption.
Thank you, Alderman Simpson. Any questions or comments on this item? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And Alderwoman McAdam, item number 5 this evening.
Thank you. I rise to make a motion to accept and adopt item number 5.
I have a second from Alderwoman Sanchez.
This is for the 2024 Annual Consolidation Plan for HUD programs, and I urge adoption.
Thank you, Alderwoman. Are there any questions or comments on this? Alderwoman Beloin Saavedra.
I think we should just highlight the changes that were made.
Sorry.
Oh.
Your Honor, just to be clear, I think the council needs to amend the resolution. So.
And also, I believe we have to,
Jason,
there's a recusal.
Go ahead, Alderman Gibson, because you're going to have to leave.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would like to recuse myself before this vote is happening. Thank you.
You are recused. Goodbye.
Your Honor, just a question on that. If it's in front of us with all the changes made already, it still has to be in amendment form because it's different than the recommendations that
Yes,
came to us?
Alderwoman, because it's, you're amending the report, the recommendation that came to the council from CCND. You do need to amend this resolution. It would be okay, I think, to just kind of give a short summary, a brief summary of some of the changes, and then just reference the fact that the clerk may be in possession of the amended language.
Okay, so the original motion is fine, now I make a motion to amend?
That is correct.
Okay, so I'm making a motion to amend the recommendations that came from CCND.
Seconded by Alderman Simpson.
And if I may?
Please.
I just want to say, and I would like my caucus to sign on to this because I noticed the names on the resolution are only the members of the majority caucus. And I do want to say that it was quite a bipartisan effort to get us here. There were a lot of conversations that went on. This, I anticipate, is going to be a unanimous vote, so somebody should give us a citation for that. We talked about all the different machinations that can go on with this, but let me just give you the highlights as agreed upon by leadership in our caucuses. So the New Britain Fire Department was not originally recommended for an allocation, but the council is recommending in our resolution $51,000 for the data terminals and the inspection devices. Also, upgrades to the senior center kitchen for $24,000 were added. And because of Don Naples' testimony during the public hearing, we removed from our recommendation the boiler and added the annex roof replacement for $80,000. There was a slight change in the spot demolition program that was recommended at $160,000. It's now at $150,000. And then there was another reduction in the business assistance program, so it's being funded at $100,000. And correct me, the leadership from the other side, but I think I've hit all the changes. And again, I want to stress what a truly bipartisan effort that this was, and there was a lot of communication going on, especially in the last few days, to get this to the point we're at. And as you saw, again, Don, are you paying attention out there? Because of you, we spent 10 minutes scrambling today to get this for you. Thank you. I urge adoption.
Thank you, Alderwoman. Any questions or comments on the amendment that has been proposed? Okay, so all those in favor of the amendment that is in the hands of the town clerk, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. We'll go back to the item on the table as amended once. Any further discussion on the item as amended once? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Motion to adjourn.
Made by Alderman Santiago, seconded by Alderman Malinowski. All those in favor? Aye. We are adjourned. The time is 8:29 p.m. Have a great night.
That's Ward 5's agreement? Thank you. That's a Ward 5 agreement?
All right. Good job. Although,